Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, July 7th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. That price you see there will be changing around, and then the candlestick, as they're called, will also be moving around. That's because the market is still open for a small amount of time. I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement on video here. But everything I talk about will still be relevant as we head into Thursday. And then next, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for your beginners out there, what that means is each one of these candlesticks, as I noted, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol EVFM, and came back to life here quite a bit in a big way. Now, from a bigger picture point of view, the chart never did anything wrong. Yeah, it made a big pullback here and then pulled back, but it's not like the price crashed. It just kind of got a little boring. I don't say that in a bad way, but unfortunately, stocks can't just go straight up. So they do need to go through those quote-unquote boring times where they consolidate out. And that's what happened here. It just consolidated out for quite a while, but then today finally got the breakout up through that area right there at give or take around the 120 mark. So overall, very nice move, and I'm sure this will be, pulling in quite a few eyeballs moving forward of people that are saying, oh, look, EVFM, it's come back to life again. So as far as key levels to watch moving forward, I think the main level that most people will be watching, and this is not some sort of great discovery on my part, but it's going to be all about this area right here at $1.43. I mean, you go through the history and you can see presented a problem, and then once again presented a problem. So while there are no guarantees in the market, my point here is that, and you can call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, you can call it whatever you want, but my point is that it's valid, it's rational to think that if the price can get up to that area and then push up through it, that break in and of itself could create quite a bit of additional upside buying pressure because, hey, look, it's a breakout. I'm a breakout trader. I should be buying right now because it's a breakout. So like I said, sure, call that a self-fulfilling prophecy, but they certainly do exist in the market, and that $1.43 mark is a very, very intriguing level to watch. So keep an eye on that moving forward, especially if you like to play this price range of stocks down below $5. Next, Wtrh, and what an absolutely monster move this afternoon. As you can see down here, volume-wise, started off the day with basically nothing going on at all, and then the volume came pouring in, and the price reacted accordingly, which is now given a good solid pattern here. So going back to the whole logic of self-fulfilling prophecies, I'm not trying to proclaim that I have a special skill here to draw this pattern or anything like that. I assure you a lot of people have drawn it. And again, I bring that up because when a lot of people are watching the same pattern, wondering the same thing, that can certainly create some very worthwhile movement. So the top part of this pattern is going to be that trend line right there. And then as far as the support part of the pattern, we have this general area down around the 22-cent mark. So let me actually change that to green to represent more so the support portion of the pattern. And then maybe make this all a little bit easier to see. Let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move up like that. And for you the golfers out there, make it a little more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play this price range of penny stocks, you like to play penny stocks that are in this bull pennant pattern, then this one should certainly be on your watch list. Next one, IINN, and I like this one for one reason alone, and it's the ability to draw this line across right there at $2.30, which goes back to, once more, the self-fulfilling prophecy attribute. So I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that, me drawing that line there was some sort of secret discovery. A lot of people have noticed that level because it's essentially the top part of this sideways channel right now. So like I said previously, does that guarantee anything? No, of course not. There are no guarantees. But is it valid? Is it rational to think that if the price can come up to the top of that 230 area and get the break up through it, that break in and of itself could create some good additional upside buying pressure? Absolutely. So I'm not going to harp on it any longer because I'll just be repeating myself to what I just talked about. So yes, if you like the whole idea and premise of a self-fulfilling prophecy in these breakout areas, definitely keep this one on your watch list, with $2.30 being that important level. Next one, AMC, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video previously, but I talked about that pink line there being the 200 period moving average, being the key level of support, which did do a good job of holding strong on Tuesday. And you can see this morning, made a great move all the way up to there. And then the problem is gave back those gains. And then the extra problem became broke even down through that pink line. And at that point, and this is just basic technical analysis, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And that's exactly what happened here. You can see that the price broke. In fact, let me zoom in here. You can maybe see it a little bit better. So the price broke down below that pink line. You can see right there. try to get above it, acted as resistance. And then right now, as I speak, you can see the price is hovering right down below that area. But that is a good sign, because this is what brings up the interesting facet headed into Thursday, is the question of, okay, can the price actually get up through that 200 period moving average? It's knocking on the door right now. So if it can get above it, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done, but that would still be a step in the right direction. So right there, 200 period moving average, validated right around, let's just call it $12.70 is going to be that main area of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, key level in my mind is all about this trend line right now, because yes, it was a rough day today earlier on, but you also have to give credit where credit's due. The price did, continue to trend upwards for the remainder of the day. So as far as, this current bounce right now, is this bounce legitimate? Is it healthy? Well, that's a very easy question to answer. Let's just see if it can continue to put in higher lows. And the quick way to measure that is just by getting a trend line into place. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that green line, and even if there's some pullbacks along the way, as long as all pullbacks stay above that trend line, then that does imply that this current bounce right now is at full health. Next one, ENJY. I should have put this one at a different spot. I should have flipped it with AMC, just because we have, once again, the whole self-fulfilling prophecy and breakout areas. So the level here that I personally believe a lot of people have put in play is that trend line right there. So I'm not going to repeat myself too much, but guarantees no, valid to think that if the price can come up to that trend line and get a break up through it, that break in of itself could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. That is certainly, in my mind, a valid and logical thought process to have. Now, if you like to play more so pullbacks, then this one's got an interesting potential setup here with this gap close location down here around the 30-cent mark. So not that gaps have to close. Think about that. Nothing in the market has to happen, because that would imply there are guarantees, which don't exist. But if you do like to play gap close, then right there at 30 cents is an interesting level. But in my mind, at least, the most important and most interesting dynamic is all about that trend line and whether or not the price can break up through it. So let's see what happens. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live training that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So again, if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, certainly get signed up for the free live training. Next one, NIO, very brutal day. With the opening period, you can see those 3 30-minute candles, just big red nasty ones. There is a bit of a bounce, but to be fair, yeah, it's a bounce, but you also don't want to, and to be, like I said, maybe this is the start of something much bigger, but my point here is don't get overly excited, because from a pattern point of view, what we have is we have the downwards move there, and then we have this uptrending channel here, and this would be known as a bear flag pattern. Now, along the lines of there are no guarantees, just because this is a bearish pattern does not mean that for sure the price is going to go downwards. But my point here is, would it shock anybody? Would it, surprise anybody to see the price come down here and then, break the downside of the bear flag pattern? No, of course not, because it's a bearish pattern to begin with. So once again, like I said, be excited in the form of, okay, the price has started to bounce, but be excited in a skeptical type of way, because yeah, all it's really done is form this bear flag pattern. So keep that in mind. Now, if you do like to play puts or like to short stocks, then I definitely assume that you'd be interested in this bear flag pattern. But either way, for those people that are interested in shorting, then yeah, I'd say get this one on your watch list. For those people that are longs or whatever, again, nice day, but don't get too excited about it. Next one, Tsla Tesla. And first thing I got to do is get this trend line here updated, which I put into play previously. So let me just get this extended out a bit more, because as you're seeing now, it's looking very likely that this trend line here could very well be coming into play on Thursday, which just brings up the big question: who's going to ultimately win out? Are the bulls going to win out with a breakout? Are the bears going to win by rejecting the price back down? Nobody knows that. But what everybody does know is that trend line is going to be observed by lots and lots of people. And that's the whole idea of a watch list in and of itself. Not just to go out there and buy something, but to find unique situations, to find interesting situations, and then, watch them. And if the price ultimately behaves in a way that fits your personal trading strategy, then you can start to take action on it. But for me, the big dynamic here is what's going to happen if the price gets at that trend line. Would I buy? Would I go short? Like I said, I have no idea at this point, because my goal with the watch list is just to find those unique situations and watch and see how the price behaves. In terms of levels of support, now that we have a bit more data today, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of support down here to this 682 mark, as that seemed to be, the stubborn level. where not once, but actually twice the price bounced nicely right off that level. So if the price does get rejected by this trend line and comes down to that area, that'll be another big question. Who's ultimately going to win out there? Are the bulls going to bounce the price, or the bears going to push down through, which could create additional downside selling pressure? But these will definitely be the two main areas that I'm most curious about for Tesla on Thursday. Next one, PLTR, and this one, interesting, a little bit, I'm sure discouraging and frustrating because, yes, first part of the day, opening 30 minutes, price came up here, broke up through the 1020 mark as the main area of resistance just from these previous highs here, acted like it wanted to break out, and then just threw out the, hey, just kidding, and completely broke to the downside. So I bring all that up because, how does this chart look? Well, I don't know. It depends. If you were just playing it as a day trader and you bought the breakout right there, then yes, the chart looks really bad for you. However, if you care about more than a single day, and if you care about more so a bigger picture point of view, then overall everything is still perfectly fine, because you can see even with the pullback today, you still have lows here, you have lows there, you have lows there, you have lows down here. You get the idea. And if you envision each of those lows as stair steps, well, you still do have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So again, is this a bad or good looking chart? Well, I don't know. Today, individually, yeah, looking pretty rough. But taking a step back and looking at more than just one single day, the trend is still fine. The price is still working and making progress forward. So from that angle, everything is still just, still bullish. But we do definitely have confirmation now that $10.20 mark is certainly going to be a very tricky level, because as we learned today, just because the price breaks above it doesn't necessarily mean that's a true break. But let's see if the price can get up there and give it another go. Next one, RIVN, and once again, we are revisiting the principle of those self-fulfilling prophecies, because, check this one out right here. And I realize the chart seems kind of small and hard to see, but I wanted to just give the context so you can see just how much of a track record the price has at $30.65. So you can see way back here, price rejected, the price was rejected. Right here, generally speaking, general area got rejected. Right here, basically right at that level, rejected. And then once again today, right at that level, rejected. So going back to those lines of the self-fulfilling prophecy, guarantees? No, but valid, plausible to think that if the price can push up to that level and then get the breakup through it, on that break then creating that much more upside buying pressure, that is certainly a very, very plausible situation to look at. And then if you look at just more so the near-term pattern, I'll draw this very roughly. We have that part of it. You have the momentum move right here. So we have ourselves another little bull pennant pattern right below that key area of resistance. So step one is essentially getting the breakout of the bull pennant. And then step two would be, can the price break up through that main area at 30.65? Let's see how the next couple of days play out. Next one, Tqqq. This is just a leverage ETF where if you believe the NASDAQ, in particular the QQQ, is going to be having, a bullish movement, then this is one that you can use to help take advantage of it. And this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video from previously, but I put in these trend lines, and talk about the power of charts. So I'm not bragging on myself, but I am bragging on the power of charts. So another quick plug, get signed up for that free training, because these truly are a great tool to have. So for those of you that watch that video, you should remember me talking about that trend line right there and talking about how that was, a key interesting dynamic. And you can see that with the breakout, there is just that much more continuation, that much more upwards movement. But oh, look, right where the price stopped going up and temporarily is getting rejected right at that secondary trend line right there. So, just a classic example of trend lines and charts working together. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose. But that segues into the first dynamic. All eyes definitely going to be on that trend line there. If they weren't already, they're certainly going to be there now. So going back to the whole self-fulfilling prophecy angle, you know what I'm going to say there. Watch that level, and it's valid to think that if the price can break that trend line, that could create additional buying pressure. If there are any sorts of pullbacks, then at this point, an interesting pullback level is right down there around $25.30. So keep an eye on that. But again, in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic, and the one that I think probably the majority of people will be watching, is all about that trend line and whether or not the price can get back up to that area and then eventually get the push through it, which would represent a very overall trend line being broken. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency, then get signed up for the free training. It will be Thursday, July 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these watch list videos, then please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment below. Those two things communicate to me that you continue to enjoy. And as long as I know that you as viewers are continuing to enjoy, then I will continue to put in the time and effort required to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. Everybody, thanks for watching and take care.